Sorry, were you waiting long? Forever. Wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphanet and Kryle should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the technically relevant tomes, if they're even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate. Plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. I was quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our revival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphanet and I were to return to Charlian, we were not allowed to be allowed across the threshold. Jesus. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlian, yes, but I was born rather farther away. In the southern region of Isambard. In fact, for generations, my people have dwelt in Corvus, the coastal region opposite the island of Thavenar. Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship, brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. You were a slave. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign. And with the Fifth Calamity froze the sea's solids, many of the tribes still living in Corvus braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvus under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes, some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlean renamed the region Locus Aemonius. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan Eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the last child born with the Allagan Eye, was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldassian, who had me registered as a Charlian citizen. I had never even considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisoix, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient prosperity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. 'Tis exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation for which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the Forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Moldy. More company should be arriving any moment now. I'm gonna wait again. Oh, hiccup. We've returned with our selections. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Kryle has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the Umbral Calamities. Ugh. As well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge on the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, I might ask you a few questions related to the final days. I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking critical details. I got you. My thanks. Now where to begin? I have my journal right here. Just let me get my book open. First things first. What kind of phenomenon did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc in all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion, meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Yastola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? They say it began with a keening sound from the land itself. Ah, yes, the Amaratians spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarat was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of the Nominon's mummets and ask after any books which makes mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was those fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venat and her followers not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Elophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with these towers, those towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Or are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? This is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Yastola, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers. Waiting for Yastola now. Goodness gracious, we're waiting a while. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Ark and stacks produced one or two possibly useful books. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urioj learned of the source's reflections from the Gurian oracles. For its potential cause, panic, and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. It is even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason that my colleagues, be they Archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of that subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fauchelevent with knowledge of the Telephore and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. I'm a swift cast this book reading. You labor for what feels like an age as Yastola's research assistant. That sounds like a dream come true. Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? Oh, I didn't know I had stuff for sale. Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a man at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Give me quest. Ready for a tea break, Moldy? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. I'll make sure to bring my outfit. Save the side quests. We'll do, obviously, the add quests, the unlock quests. I mean, I could have been teleporting this whole time, but... Someone's about to absolutely hate me. I'm about to just rapid click. I don't care. All I know is you have something for me to unlock. It's the hunts, though, so it's alright. New quests. Oh, I guess that would be, yeah, that makes sense. Give me, what can I buy? Nothing crazy yet. That's okay. Yeah. And I'm gonna go unlock this real quick too. Oh yeah. Random fire, rapid fire, click. Cool. Now I need to go that way. I feel like I'm dropping more frames. That might be better for the frame rate. Yeah, this should be better. We'll try it. Dinner date with Alize. As busy as ever, I see. How very Charlene that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions to gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telefore. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Alize is now a company who keep her aside in order to proceed with quest objectives. Yeah. Well, never mind. I guess we're wearing this. What is it? You may not enjoy a moment of private respite. If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You must understand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew of the Telefore. These enemies of peace have promised to end all we hold dear, and... Wait, you're that House Levier girl, aren't you? This woman with you is obviously a foreigner. I'd heard that you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I've not what say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It was foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Moldy. Wow. Oh, you're back here. I'll get my sword out this time. Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telefore, the Telly, and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levier. My apologies, but I work for the offices in the forum, and if word reached Master Fortunat that I was helping you... I see, we're sorry to have bothered you. I'm sorry. Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mistress Alice? I see. My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alphino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levier. No matter how discreet Master Fauchon may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Charlene has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. Well, maybe there is. You're a visitor, Charlene, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Oh my god. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? I gotcha. That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting at the water's edge. The omelet is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisela. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you see a McCoy gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobsters. Got all that? Not sure, just ask and I'll play it again. Okay. I think I remember 2 of them. And I can't do this. I need it. I need it. It's gorgeous. Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. The Telefohu? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th astral area, common or historic, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off. Well, they made this easy. Ah, finally, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. What the Telefori? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest gazette. That's some grand claim about the end of days, same old senseless warmongering. All of these old fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood. Just stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Oh no. Oh no. Sure. Got me tripped up. Ah, last. The oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. Final days? This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. Must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Charlene. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So name it for those folks who trail after the reapers in the field, picking up every grain which was missed. By all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telefaore make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before. Not like this. Reaper, you say? Wrong one. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer. And he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, that cup of coffee I promised. Ugh. Hiccups. Let's enjoy our drink somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the pier style, away from the gossip of the wagging tongues. What? Oh, it's so far away, Alize. I went the wrong way. Ah, yes, this should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos. A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
We're going swimming, boys. We should tell the others of what we learned about the Gleaners. Going ahead to Nomina, and I'll join up in a moment. Master Dick and Mona's comes back. You are not wrong. They're all the way back. The Studium. So... I don't like the way we do is the Ethernet now. Gotta click it twice. Texting the girlfriend, my bad. Oh. Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo, and certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Yastola observed earlier, Nolan's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Moldy and Alizé learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Charlians know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction can be perpetrated by the Orophoroi, who's wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it is stretched to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. What should we expect down there? Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. Ready? Labyrinthos is not far from here. You might find a path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Follow Alizé and try not to fall behind. Is this a joke? Sorry, I'm texting the girlfriend, fiance, same old. Now we run, try to keep up. This really is beautiful. Oh, we're gonna take the chocobo, aren't we? Ah, here we are, through the store and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. Off we go. Well, I guess it's not a chocobo, but it is a porter of some kind. Oh, it is a chocobo. Well, ain't that something? Okay, okay. We're all here now, yes. I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift, and down we go. Oh, I'm already there.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
The whole city.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Waddle, waddle, waddle.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now? No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Oh my! How is this place so big? Well, I assumed. Well, I can at least get on my bird and move around. Oh, I missed that. Achievements in this area. Oh, I don't like this. Current area. You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books and ore and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labranthus. You know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They just did one a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high. Damned if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Taking stock. Let me think. The Rhea Siege should be item 1058. Kumum Siege should be 1059. Snowberry 1060. Or were they 1061? Ah, my head feels like it's stuffed with Moko grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Why do all this at once? Risk mixing it up. What if someone mistakes the Corthian carrots or the for the Agarabanian carrots? What then? Shipments coming in and out. That is insane. Oh my gosh. Insane. Okay, one more. You're here to help me give me more headaches, because you don't have the look of a cleaner, and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Any luck, Moldy? What tales do the gleaners have to tell? Do. So this grand operation began without warning. For every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard facts I've been seeing. We're right, the forum is definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. Well. I am going to take a break for a little bit then, guys. I will be back today. Not sure when. I'll put up another countdown when we'll see when. Say maybe about an hour or 2 hours. But until then, hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.